Some breaking news out of the NFL, where the San Francisco 49ers and quarterback Brock Purdy have agreed to a 5-year, $265 million contract extension. That's the latest from our NFL insider.
They called him Mr. Irrelevant, the 262nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. A name announced with barely any fanfare, a backup to a backup, someone expected to vanish from the league before he ever stepped onto a field. But fast forward 2 years later, Brock Purdy is no longer an underdog. He's the $265 million face of one of the most historic franchises in football. With $181 million guaranteed, Purdy's new 5-year deal didn't just reset his life. It completely reset the future of the San Francisco 49ers. And behind the money, the headlines, and the applause lies a truth the franchise can no longer run from. They must win, and they must win now. Let's rewind for a moment. In 2022, the 49ers were in chaos at quarterback. Trey Lance, the guy they traded 3 first-round picks to get, was injured. Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt again, then stepped in the unknown 7th rounder from Iowa State. 3rd-string quarterback, Brock Purdy, and he didn't just survive, he dominated. He won his first 5 starts, helped San Francisco reach the NFC Championship, and outplayed veterans and first-rounders along the way. He was efficient, he was composed, he looked like he belonged, but no one could have guessed what was coming next. In 2023, Purdy exploded. He finished the regular season with 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, just 11 interceptions, and led the NFL in multiple advanced metrics: yards per attempt, touchdown rate, and passer rating. He took the 49ers all the way to the Super Bowl. He wasn't a game manager. He was a difference maker, a Pro Bowler, a franchise quarterback, and most importantly, he was still playing on a rookie deal, paying him less than $1 million a year. That right there was the Niners' secret weapon. While other teams were shelling out $50 million a year for elite quarterbacks, the 49ers had one of the league's most productive QBs for pennies. That allowed them to build a super team around him. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, stacked everywhere. But the cheap window was always going to close, and now it has, loudly. With Purdy's extension now official, the Niners no longer have the luxury of paying minimum wage at the game's most important position. His $53 million per year average places him among the top-paid quarterbacks in NFL history. It's a powerful vote of confidence, but it comes with serious consequences. The Niners had to make sacrifices. Deebo Samuel, gone, traded to Washington. Javon Hargrave, released. Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, Aaron Banks, all key starters, let go. And with over $81 million in dead cap money, San Francisco now has the highest dead money total in the entire league. They're not just spending big, they're bleeding cash just to stay afloat. And that tells us one thing: the Niners are all in. Not for 2026, not for 2028, for 2025. This is why they extended Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner, and Trent Williams, all before the 2025 season even began. They restructured deals, cleared room, and ensured their offensive nucleus remained intact. On defense, they pivoted. Robert Saleh returned as defensive coordinator, and the Niners used 5 of their top draft picks on defenders. They're not buying veterans anymore. They're developing youth, cheaper contracts, lower cap hits, and more reliance on scheme and culture. It's a major identity shift. They've doubled down on the coaching staff too, bringing in specialists, nutritionists, and analytics experts to fine-tune every single piece of the puzzle. The organization knows the roster window is shrinking, so now they're squeezing every ounce of competitive advantage they can. Off the field, the 49ers are investing in state-of-the-art recovery facilities, sports psychology departments, and performance technology to keep players healthy and mentally sharp through the long grind of a season. The leadership has become obsessed with preparation because they understand that one blown coverage, one mistimed route, or one missed blitz pickup can be the difference between another heartbreak and a championship. But this aggressive plan only works if Brock Purdy keeps playing like a top-tier quarterback. And here's where things get complicated, because while Purdy shined in 2023, the 2024 season exposed a few cracks. Injuries to McCaffrey, Ayuk, and Trent Williams disrupted the offense. The Niners finished just 6-11. Purdy's numbers dipped. He struggled in bad weather. He struggled when playing from behind. In the fourth quarter, when trailing, his QBR was ranked just 20th in the league. And yet, the Niners didn't blink. They doubled down, they paid him, and they made it clear he's not a system quarterback anymore. He is the system. Kyle Shanahan put it best. You don't give someone this kind of money unless you're sure. And the front office, they're sure. Sure enough to bet their jobs, their legacy, and the next 5 years of football on one quarterback who went from irrelevant to indispensable. The message to the locker room is clear. Purdy is the guy. Now it's your job to back him up. And for Purdy, it's time to earn every cent. Starting in 2026, the numbers stop working in their favor. The cap figure for Brock Purdy, once a luxury disguised as a miracle, will surge into the upper stratosphere, and the financial gymnastics that allowed the San Francisco 49ers to build around a cheap quarterback contract will come to an end. The roster by necessity will grow younger. It will become leaner, more developmental, more dependent on upside and unproven depth. And in that transformation, it will almost certainly become less star-studded. The veteran contracts that were restructured year after year in pursuit of a title will eventually demand repayment, a tax on ambition that every contending franchise has to pay. Key players will age out, some will retire, others will walk, priced out by a team already pushed to the brink. That's the cost of coming close, again and again, without finishing the job. And that's why 2025 is not just another season, it's the last best shot. Because this year, for once, the schedule breaks in their favor. The health outlook across the roster is stronger than it's been in years. And the stage, Levi's Stadium, will host Super Bowl 60, a rare chance to play for a championship on their own turf in front of their own fans, under their own banners. It's not just a shot at redemption, it's the kind of moment that careers are made for and legacies are defined by. If they can make a run this year in their own building with Brock Purdy, obviously the unlikeliest of franchise quarterbacks, leading the charge as the highest paid player in team history, then the arc completes itself. From Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl champion, from third string afterthought to the face of a storied franchise finally breaking a 3-decade drought. It would be a storybook ending to one of the greatest underdog sagas in NFL history. But if they don't, if Purdy falters under the weight of expectations, if the defense, once the identity of the team begins to slide, if the financial strain fractures the locker room and the churn of departures disrupts the culture they fought so hard to build, then the extension, once hailed as smart, fair, and well-earned, might look less like a triumph and more like a trap, not a springboard into the future, but an anchor dragging them back. Because the 49ers aren't just betting on a quarterback, they're betting on a moment. One season, one chance, one final window before the economics of the NFL come crashing down around then. And it's not just a bet on Purdy's arm, it's a bet on his leadership, on his voice in the huddle, on his ability to unify a locker room filled with veterans who've been through heartbreak after heartbreak, to convince them, in the face of history and exhaustion, that this time will be different, that this time they'll finish it. That pressure is immense, but pressure in football doesn't just break players, it reveals them. And for someone like Purdy, whose entire career has been defined by overcoming doubt, it's the kind of pressure that forges legacy. The real reason the 49ers paid Brock Purdy what they did isn't just about his statistics, or his poise under pressure, or even the remarkable arc of his development from the last pick in the draft to the leader of one of the league's most talented rosters. It's about something deeper, something more urgent and intangible, a kind of organizational desperation born from the fatigue of being almost great for far too long, of building rosters good enough to contend and cultures strong enough to believe, only to fall heartbreakingly short time and time again. This is a franchise that's hovered near the summit for nearly a decade now, coming within a handful of plays in 2019, a few agonizing minutes in 2021, and just a few inches in 2023, each time watching the dream slip just out of reach, knowing they were good enough to win it all, but never quite able to seize the moment. And after so many near misses, after so many seasons of promise ending in disappointment, the urgency has boiled over into something undeniable. Enough is enough. This isn't just another chapter, and it's the climax. This is the final act of a decade-long pursuit that began with Shanahan and Lynch reshaping the 49ers' identity. It's not just about a stacked roster or a home Super Bowl. It's about a window that's closing. By 2026, the core shifts, the costs rise, and the margin for error disappears. This isn't just a bet on Purdy's talent, it's a bet on his ability to lead, endure, and finally finish the job. One season, one shot, no time left. If you believe this is the year the 49ers finally get over the hump, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and drop your take in the comments. Will Purdy deliver a title, or will this contract be the decision they never recover from? Let's talk.